and welcome to my channel. I'm Bochi Fufu. I am a hard of hearing variety streamer who wants to see more accessibility available to the deaf and hard of hearing community within both the gaming and the streaming spaces. So people are always losing their hearing, whether it's gradually over time, with age, or from a sudden incident that could happen. Have you ever gone to a concert before? And afterwards, your ears are ringing, you're having a hard time understanding people around you who are talking. Loud concerts can affect your hearing over time. The same goes for listening to games or music in your headphones at too high of a level. You know those jump scare alerts that you have on your stream? Well, those can impact your hearing health over time, so keep that in mind. Being accessible is not just for people who are born deaf, but for anyone and everyone. Whether your hearing is declining or you want to watch something without turning up the volume, everybody deserves access. Not everyone has the volume on when they are scrolling through social media. Let your short form content be easily accessed to everyone, whether they can hear it or not. There's a higher chance of engagement if people can understand what's happening without having to hear it. When I'm scrolling through social media on my phone, it's usually in public, or sometimes I'm just laying in bed and I don't want to have the volume on. I want to know what's going on when I'm watching a video without having to hear it. If there are captions on the video, I am more likely to stop and watch it. Also, this increases the chance that I'll engage with the content as well. So that's something to consider when you are repurposing your content and posting it onto different social platforms. Add captions to it so that way, if people are wanting to watch your video without hearing it, then they have that option. I mean, I can't tell you, I never have audio on certain social platforms because I don't want to hear everything that's going on. However, I will stop if there are captions there, and my likelihood of actually engaging and commenting and liking it is gonna go up a lot more if I can understand what I'm watching, right? So something to consider is when you are repurposing your content onto different social media platforms, add captions and, if possible, add transcripts to your videos because it can improve SEO or search engine optimization by clarifying target keywords. It will improve visibility and allow your videos to be discovered easier. You can also make your brand look more professional if you're putting captions on everything. Brands that always use captions are considered to be reliable and access friendly. These are the brands that people who are deaf or hard of hearing go back to over and over again because they know when you put out that video, when you put out your content, you are going to have captions on it. So they know they can rely on you to be accessible to them. So that might be something you want to consider for your brand. All right, let's get into the do's and don'ts when it comes to interacting with those who are deaf or hard of hearing. Speaking normal is important because if you're overemphasizing your words, then it's impossible to understand and read your lips. Lip reading is not perfect since there are words that look very similar, so speaking normal is very important. When lip reading, people tend to watch some movements your mouth is making and taking context from the words to figure out what is being said. For example, I am going to say something while muted. Let me know in the comments if you're able to figure it out before I give you the answer. The first one was olive juice. The second was I love you. Notice how similar they look though? Without any other context given, this can be very difficult to know the difference. If you yell, then you are not pronouncing your words properly, and it is more difficult for them to understand. Just so you know, yelling at a deaf person will not make them magically be able to hear you. This doesn't pertain to when you're yelling and being animated and playing video games and trying to entertain. This is more so for when you are in person talking to somebody one-on-one or in a group setting, right? So if you are yelling and having a great time, like that is not the same. And if you are a very animated streamer or entertainer and you do a lot of yelling like I do, then captions can remedy this on stream or in a video. So if you are very animated, have captions on your channel, because that way, while you're screaming and moving around and being wild and hectic, they're still able to understand you. This is important to know. If someone comes up to you and says, I'm hard of hearing or I'm deaf, make sure you're still talking like you normally would. If they ask you to speak up, then it's okay to make your voice a little louder, but don't start yelling at them. You can obviously go from talking like this to adding a little extra, a little oomph to your voice, right? You can get a little louder without actually raising your voice to the level of yelling or screaming at somebody. And sometimes if you're in a noisy environment, that can be difficult for folks with hearing issues. Yelling only exacerbates the problem and makes it harder for someone to read your lips. So sometimes there'll be noise all over the place, right? And for someone who's hard of hearing like myself, a lot of background noise makes it very difficult for me to understand somebody. But if you are adding to the noise by yelling, it just becomes more noise, right? So because you're yelling, you're overemphasizing your words, you're talking loudly, you're just being very loud. That is going to not help me, because then I can't read your lips. And now I'm just hearing noise everywhere. I'm hearing noise coming out of your face. I'm hearing noise behind me. Like, it all just becomes too much, and it becomes overstimulating for someone like myself, because, you know, I also have anxiety, and being in those kinds of environments, they can be overstimulating for someone like myself. And so, yeah, don't add to the noise, right? Be part of the solution, not the problem. So make sure that you are not yelling at someone who tells you that they're deaf or hard of hearing. Do not, please, 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 do not cover your mouth or turn away when you are talking to someone who is deaf or hard of hearing. They cannot read your lips if you are moving your head or covering your mouth. Doing this while talking to people who are deaf or hard of hearing can come off as being disrespectful. It comes off as rude within deaf culture if you're purposely cutting them off from this method of communication, because you are basically saying, I don't want you to know what I'm saying. You are telling them you do not want them to understand you. You do not want to communicate with them, because you are taking something very important for them, especially if you do not sign. Like, we need to see your face. We need to gauge your gestures and figure out like your attitude and what emotion you're trying to convey to us, while also trying to read your lips. So if you're doing this, you are basically blocking off such a big part of our communication. I do understand sometimes it's hard not to put your hands in front of your mouth, right? Especially when you're streaming. Like, sometimes you get scared and you cover your mouth. But again, this is the same thing with yelling, right? So if you are streaming or doing a video and you cover your mouth, if you have captions, you are still telling people, I want you to understand me. The don't cover your mouth is more so if you are in person and if there is no way for you to have captions or subtitles or something to really give off what is going on. Last but not least, let's get into different types of captions you can use on your stream. I'm going to give you my 2 favorite resources for captions that are currently on the market, along with links that will be down in the description below. Now that you know what not to do, let's talk about what to do with captioning your live streams. Now, currently there are only 2 sets of captions on the market that are my absolute favorite. That doesn't mean that there aren't more out there. These are just the 2 that as a hard of hearing person, I prefer. Now, the first one is going to be a plugin for OBS that was created by Rat with a compiler. I will have the link in the description for this plugin. Let me tell you why I like this plugin though. Once you add it to your OBS, it will always be ready to go whenever you go live. Not only that, but your viewers on Twitch are able to customize the captions to their liking while they're watching your stream. You can add these captions on and you go live and they're automatically there. So your viewers can go where there's a little CC button. It's usually like near where the clip button is on stream if you're on Twitch. And they can change the font, they can change the text size, the color, and even the background to ensure that they're getting the best experience for their needs. If you have viewers that don't like captions, they also have the ability to turn them off. The second choice is great for those who like to have control over where their captions are going to be showing on their screen. If you have like an overlay, right, and you want to make sure that people can see your captions, but you want them to be in a specific place, like let's say you want them right underneath your camera. So this is a good choice for that as the streamer to customize where they are going to show on your screen, the size, the color, and the background. The only thing is these captions your viewers cannot turn off because they are actually an overlay that is a part of your stream. You want to make sure you are putting them somewhere where they are going to be accessible, but they are also going to be easy to read. They're also not going to be super distracting, right? So these captions come from Pixel Chat. If you haven't seen it before, you can do different things like a cool shout out overlay with Pixel Chat. There's more than one feature that they do offer. If you haven't checked them out, you should consider it. I will throw a link down in the description for Pixel Chat. Now, to wrap it up, I hope you found this to be educational. I have a bunch of videos that will be coming out in the future in regards to accessibility in gaming for folks with disabilities. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for some more educational videos like this in the future. And until next time, bye!